Good afternoon and welcome to Gimme Some Sugar, Baking with Steven. Hope everybody's doing good out there today on this Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, wherever you're located at in the country. We are excited to have you here with us today. So, after much thought and much consideration, I've decided to make something that was easy, didn't involve a mixer or a hand mixer. All you need is a big bowl, a whisk, and a pan. And I think most people have those items in their house. So today we're going to make one bowl Decadent brownies. And after you're making these brownies, you will never, ever, ever, ever go back to a mix. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to start making our one bowl Decadent brownies, the best you ever had. See you soon. Okay, welcome back to Give Me Some Sugar, Baking with Steven. And today we're doing one bowl Decadent brownies. And these brownies are so simple and so quick and so easy that you'll never go back to making a mix. Now, I know when you go to the supermarket, you walk down the aisles, and you see the cake mixes, you see the brownies, you say, oh, that looks so good. And then you get home and you get your ingredients out and you make that mix up and you bake it and you cool it down and you cut them up and you eat it. And you're like, you know what? This is nasty. No more of that. We want you to have good, wholesome, delicious brownies, things that you want to make for yourself and your family. It's not going to take a whole bunch of rocket science to create. So we're going to start right now. I'm going to show you the recipe on the screen. So get your pen and paper handed, and we'll start. Okay, so for our one bowl Decadent brownies, we're going to start with a half a cup of melted butter or one stick, a half a cup of unsweetened cocoa, 1 cup of sugar, 2 large eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, a half a cup of flour, and 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. Leave out the salt if you're using salted butter. I always use, again, unsalted butter when I'm baking. But if you're using salted butter, cut the salt out. Okay, so let's get ready. Let's start. So in my bowl, as you can see, got a glass bowl. You can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the butter in the bowl. Okay. I'm telling you, once you make this brownie recipe, you'll never make anything else. So Betty Crocker and Duncan Hines and all them other girls, they can stay on that shelf. You don't need them for nothing after this, okay? And we're going to add the butter to the bowl, and we're going to add a half a cup of cocoa, unsweetened cocoa. Now, this is cocoa powder. This is not hot chocolate powder or chocolate, whatever you got in the cabinet. This is unsweetened cocoa powder, so it's not sweet. It is basically cocoa from the cocoa bean, and it's powdered down. Okay, so a half a cup of that. Always use your dry measuring when you're measuring. Okay. Okay, that's a half a cup. And we're going to put that in the microwave for about 2 minutes. Now, if you don't want to use the microwave, you want to use your stove, that's fine too. You can put the butter and the actual cocoa powder in a pot and melt it over a low heat until the butter is melted and the cocoa dissolves inside the butter. Okay? So for this purpose of this show, we're going to make it fast and easy and simple. One bowl brownies, no pot, or you can make it one pot brownies, but for this, one bowl. Into the microwave for about 2 minutes until the butter is melted. And make sure when you take it out, you have some kind of protection. You don't want to burn your hand because the bowl may be hot. Okay? Okay. So while that is actually working out, I'm going to measure out a half a cup of flour. and a cup of sugar. So the reason why you actually melt the butter and the actual cocoa powder, because you want them to become one. You don't want them to be separate. They have to be blended. So by melting it together, it blends and it's smooth, and it actually brings alive the dry cocoa powder. Anytime you have a dry food or a dry cocoa powder or anything dry that was once a living thing, when you put it with moisture, it makes the flavor come alive. It awakens the flavor. So it's quick, it's easy, but it also reconstitutes the flavor and makes it more tastier. So that's why you do the things you do when you bake. See, baking is a science. You just don't do it because you just do it. It's a reason why you do it. So by melting it together, it brings alive our cocoa powder. Okay. We got about 45 seconds left until melted. And trust me, this is going to be an easy recipe. No dishes to wash, really. Just a few bowls and a few spoons and a measuring cup. And it's right from your flour and your sugar and your eggs. And you'll be surprised how fast you bake these brownies, okay? And we're winding down. Check on it right now. Yep, we are done. So I actually said 2 minutes. It actually melted in about a minute and a half. So I'm gonna go ahead and okay. So you can see the mixture. Okay, so it melted. So now I'm gonna go ahead and measure a cup of sugar to that. And we add the sugar first to the melted butter and cocoa powder. And we whisk it together. And do you see how it's coming together? And with your whisk, you just whisk it until it's smooth and combined. And now, we're going to add our eggs. So it goes butter, cocoa powder, sugar, then eggs. Okay? And again, when you're cracking eggs, always crack in a separate bowl. Don't never crack the egg from shell to bowl. Make sure it's shell to first bowl, then to big bowl. And we do 1 egg at a time. You make sure that each egg is combined thoroughly. We don't want no streaks of whites or yolks in our batter. So make sure each egg is combined and whisked thoroughly. This is such an easy recipe. I'm telling you, you'll never go back to making those terrible brownie mixes. Now listen, if you never had anything else but brownie mix and you think that's the best in the world, I'm happy for you. But listen, your world is going to be changed once you make this recipe. And you'll be so proud of yourself for actually making something homemade. It's so easy. Okay? And this is one of the recipes that you will start out when you start baking that you would try out because it's simple. It's not hard to make. See the consistency of that? You can see the glossiness of the chocolate. That's what we want. Okay. So now to that butter, cocoa powder, sugar, and eggs, I'm going to add the vanilla. Now, I go crazy on vanilla because I love vanilla. And when some recipes calls for a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon, I always add more. So that's why it's called Give Me Some Sugar. I always give you more. So I'm going to put 2 teaspoons. Pure vanilla extract, again, no imitation. You're baked goods, but thank you. Trust me. This Whisk that in there. Okay, now we can go ahead and add our flour, which was a half a cup of flour. You don't have to sift it. You don't have to whisk it. You just have to measure it and combine it. So that's a half a cup of flour, all-purpose flour. Now, if you're gluten-free and all that stuff, I'm sure you can use a gluten-free flour, like a rice flour. I haven't tried that, but if you are gluten sensitive, I would go ahead and recommend using the gluten-free flour in place of all-purpose flour. No problem. And a quarter of a teaspoon of sea salt. Okay, because you know what, chocolate needs to be it's sweet, but it needs to also be elevated by salt. You know, you always have that balance, counterbalance of sweet and salt. And so a fourth of a teaspoon of salt, sea salt if you have it, does the job great. Okay, measure that. And guess what? That's your brownie. That's all you got to do. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, right? You can't be scared when you're baking. You got to be confident and be, you know, at peace with it. Because once you're at peace, whatever you're baking is going to be at peace. It's going to be awesome. So don't be scared. And once that flour is combined, you'll see the batter come together pretty nicely. You see that? That's the batter. That's the batter. Boom. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and prepare my pan. Now I got a little extra thing that I'm going to do with these brownies, which I didn't put in the recipe. I'm going to add some additional chocolate chips. So I had, of course, because I always have things on hand, I had some chocolate chips, mini chocolate chips, semi-sweet, and a dark chocolate chip. So I'm going to add half a cup of those to the batter. And if you don't want that in your batter, that's fine. You just want the basic cocoa powder, fine. But I got a little something special. So I'm going to add about half of that half a cup. So a fourth of a cup of the chocolate chips to the batter. And the other half I'm going to save for the top of the brownies when I put them in the pan. Okay. So I'm going to whisk that in there. And now I'm going to go ahead and grease our pan. So with brownies like these, it's always best to have an 8x8 pan. And you just already put aluminum foil in the pan like that to cover the surface of the pan. It makes it easier for them to come out the pan versus having to fight with the pan to get the brownies out. So line a pan with aluminum foil, 8x8 pan. I'm going to take this pan I have. I'm going to use my baking spray. I'm going to spray that pan. That's it. Not too much, not too little. We want that to come off the aluminum foil, no problem. That's the whole goal. And we're going to put these brownies in our pan. And I want every drop of that batter because, you know, chocolate is an expensive crop in the world. We don't want to waste nothing in this bowl. We want it to go into our mouths, right? To our stomachs. I got a few chocolate chips stuck on the whisk. Let's use my little spatula. Again, these little tools come in handy when you're doing things in the kitchen. Nothing gets wasted here. Perfect. It's all released. Okay. I love brownies. Brownies are one of those things that, you know, as a kid, I remember going to bake sales and looking forward to buying a brownie, you know, and I knew the difference between a homemade brownie and a box brownie at a young age. I knew, okay, somebody's mom made this from homemade. This is not a mix. So I've always been a brownie connoisseur. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things that just brings up wonderful memories for me, you know. And even when you used to go out to restaurants, like back in the day, I used to go to Friendly's. Remember Friendly's? I used to love me some Friendly's back in the day. Oh my God. They used to have a Bernie Alamo dessert. I used to tear that up as a kid. I was greedy. But anyway, we got that all out the bowl. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this batter in the bowl. Let's see what I'm doing. Okay, perfect. This is the perfect treat. It's not too big, not too small. You're not making a whole bunch of sugar you got to eat. You know, you see a lot of sugar in your house. Like, oh my God, I don't want it to go to waste. I want to eat it. So this small recipe is a perfect treat for those people who live by themselves or one or two people, a couple, because you're not going to have it all week long, just staring at you in your face at your house. Okay. That's the batter. And the batter is going to be very thick, so you're going to have to really use 2 spatulas to get all of the batter out of the bowl, which I would highly recommend. Okay, so again, invest in those tools that you have in your house or need in your house. If you don't have spatulas or got a crappy one, go out and buy a few spatulas. You'll be happy. You'll definitely be happy you had them. I'm gonna use my small spatula to get the last little bit. Again, we don't waste nothing in this house. You can tell I was raised from old school. Nothing gets wasted, right? Today, these kids waste everything. They don't care. They'll overlook everything, but not me. I don't waste nothing. Because I work too hard, right? You work too hard for everything. So I'm not throwing money out the door. Okay. I think you did a good job getting that batter out. So you're going to take your time because it will stick to the bowl. It's not going to be a smooth batter like a cake batter where it comes right out evenly. You have to do some work to get it out. Okay. So we got that out. We're good. And now the rest of the chocolate chips, we're going to go ahead and we're going to sprinkle on the top of the brownies. And I'm going to show you how it looks before I put it in the oven. Okay, perfect. And here we go. This is how it looks before it goes in the oven. You can see it here. Boom. Okay. So we're going to put it in the oven for 350. I'm going to add 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Do not overbake the brownies. I want them to be fudgy. I don't want cake brownies, but if that's your thing, you can bake them a little longer if you like. But I like a fudgy brownie that has a nice top on the crust on the top and a nice fudgy interior when you bite into it. So into the oven goes for 20 minutes. It's 219, so hopefully about 20 minutes these will be done. Okay. And just like that, your brownies are in the oven. You don't have to buy a mix. You don't have to buy brownies from the bakery section in your supermarket that are all dried out and all that fake icing. You have homemade brownies at your house. So when we come back from commercial, we're going to do some questions and comments and actually some education on the history of chocolate. All right, talk to you soon when we come back. Okay, welcome back to Give Me Some Sugar, Baking with Steven. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. So today we are actually making 1 bowl Decadent brownies, which are so easy. Like I've been saying for the last 20 minutes or so. You will never go back to a mix. But I thought it'd be very interesting to actually tell you about the different chocolate that we have. You know, I think when you see chocolate, you think chocolate is just one and the same. But actually, chocolate comes from the cocoa plant, and the cocoa plant is in subtropical climates, like far as Africa, South America, and other parts of the world. And once you understand chocolate and understand the complexity of how it is to make chocolate, you'll respect chocolate more. You know, so I think once you respect and understand where your food comes from, you appreciate it. So I'm going to tell you what the cocoa bean products what we do. Okay, so the cocoa bean, all right, you have the cocoa plant, and inside the cocoa plant is the cocoa bean, and that is dried out. And from that cocoa bean, you get chocolate. Um, One thing that you can get from cocoa bean is called chocolate liqueur. It is the ground or melted state of the nib of the cocoa bean. And the nib is the little part of the cocoa bean that is dried out. It looks like a piece of bark, but it's dried out. And they ground that and melt that and make chocolate liqueur. Okay. Number two, which everybody is familiar with, is cocoa butter. And cocoa butter is the fatty component of the bean. Now, cocoa butter, of course, you put it in lotion, you put it in different products in hair and face and skincare, but it's also in different foods as well, too. So you have cocoa butter and chocolate in your chocolate bars. Most of your chocolate bars that you eat, Hershey's or Reese Cups, has some percentage of cocoa butter. So again, cocoa bean, cocoa plant makes a variety of different chocolates, okay? And number three, dry cocoa solids. Now, dry cocoa solids is what we have here, unsweetened cocoa. So what happens is those dried cocoa solids are the remaining non-fat part of the cocoa bean, which is ground into a powder. And the powder, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, maybe you can see here, it's dry. So they ground that up and make this powder. And this is why cocoa is so expensive. Cocoa actually is the least expensive, but chocolate in period is expensive. You have fair trade amongst different countries. It's like a diamond. It's like a jewel. It's a commodity. And so when you see now, and when you buy chocolate, you have a stamp on certain chocolates which says this chocolate was raised or grown fair trade, meaning that the country that it was grown in took protective measures to make sure that child labor wasn't being used to make this chocolate. It wasn't made in a war zone. It wasn't made under some kind of craziness in the country. Because, a lot of countries where chocolate is grown, there's always some kind of warfare or some kind of conflict. So they want to make sure that as a consumer, when you buy chocolate, you buy in confidence that the chocolate is ethically grown and ethically produced. And when you make it, you feel better about having your brownie or your chocolate cake, okay? You have different types of chocolate. You have milk chocolate. You have semi-sweet chocolate. You have unsweetened chocolate. You have the cocoa bean products I just listed before. So you have a full gamut. It's just all depends on what you like. Some people love dark chocolate because it's not as sweet. It's more intense, like a red wine. Some people like the milk chocolate, like the Hershey's and Reese Cups. I'm not a big milk chocolate fan because I feel like it's just too sweet for me. I like it to be a little bitter, but not too bitter. So I think with the semi-sweet and some of the unsweetened chocolates, you get that more chocolate upfront taste. It reminds you of maybe a wine, a red wine flavor. So there's some interesting facts about chocolate, Not everyone is a chocolate lover. I hear people say, "Oh, chocolate breaks me out. I eat chocolate. I have a face full of zits," or do they still call it zits? I'm sorry, acne. But telling my age now. But people don't like chocolate. It can break them out. But I think chocolate is good for you. They even said medical research said that if you have dark chocolate, in moderation, it's good for your health. So hey, something to think about. Now, this is not dark chocolate. This is just from cocoa powder, cocoa beans. So don't go crazy. Think I'm gonna eat a whole pan of brownies. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be healthy. Again, moderation. Okay. So hope that was an earful. Hope you learned something from that little education about the history of chocolate. Again, questions. Anybody have any questions about chocolate or the brownies? Please feel free to chime in. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Charles. Thank you. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing good out there. Hi, Izzy. How you doing? Thank you for joining us today. Does it make a difference on what types of chocolate you use for the recipe? And you know what, Charles? It definitely does. When making brownies, you always want to use either two chocolates, either the cocoa powder. And hold on, I have one more thing I can have. Hold on 1 second. cocoa powder does the job sometimes. Well, most of the time, if you don't have unsweetened chocolate. But you also can buy baker's chocolate. Baker's chocolate is a bar chocolate. Again, it comes in semi-sweet or unsweetened. And for brownies, you would use baker's unsweetened, not semi-sweet. So I don't have unsweetened on hand. But if I had a baker's unsweetened bar, I would have used this versus the actual bar powder. So it does, make a difference. You don't want to ever use a semi-sweet or a milk chocolate in your brownies. Now, with the chocolate chips itself, they were semi-sweet. So I added them into the actual batter, but the actual batter needs to be unsweetened chocolate. Okay? Hope that answered your question. Hi, Connie. How are you? Thank you for joining us today. Miss you so much. Thank you for joining. Give me some sugar. Baking with Steven. Love you. You love, okay, you said you love dark chocolate chips. Izzy, I do too. Something about dark chocolate that, I don't know, it just has a different vibe. It's like a mature taste. That's what chocolate is supposed to taste like. So I'm with you on that one. Thank you, Izzy. Great question, Connie said. Thanks, Charles, for asking that. Yes, Connie, when you're making different things from brownies to chocolate cake or even hot chocolate, you know what? You could even make hot chocolate from unsweetened cocoa powder. You don't have to buy those terrible Swiss Miss, chocolate mixes, hot chocolate mixes or, Nestle chocolate mixes. You can just have unsweetened chocolate, sugar, vanilla, and milk. And you can make the world's best hot cocoa. You don't have to buy those mixes. So that's the thing. Once you understand your ingredients and your products, like I'm not advertising Trader Joe's, sorry. But anyway, once you buy the best ingredients, you can do so much with that at home. You don't have to buy, similar things and you have so much in your cabinet that you don't even use it. So buy one good thing, use it different ways. Thank you for that question, Kwame. Hi, Kendra. Thank you for joining us today here. Give me some sugar baking with Steven. Izzy asks, is there such a thing as cheap chocolate? If so, is there a difference in taste? Well, my dear, unfortunately, there is. When you have cheap chocolate, you can taste it. To me, I am not a Hershey's person. I don't care how you cut it. Hershey's just tastes cheap to me. Even if I had, like a Hershey bar with almonds or a Hershey chocolate bar, it's just too sweet. It's just too artificial. Yeah, it is chocolate, but they use other stuff in it to get that taste. And I'm not a fan of Hershey. So Hershey to me is a cheap chocolate. If you use generic brands at the store, that's a cheap chocolate. But for the most part, if you stick to unsweetened chocolate, you can kind of dictate how the taste is going to come out because you're adding everything else that's going to be sweetened to the chocolate. So good question. Thank you. Did I hear brownies? Well, Kendra, your ears are correct. Your eyes are correct. You did hear brownies. So stay tuned. Brian Nichols said, what's up, y'all? What's up, Brian? Thank you for joining us today on Give Me Some Sugar, Baking with Steven. We appreciate you having our Sunday with us. Wow, looks good. So I'm going to check on my brands right now and see what's going on. Make sure they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, which I'm sure they are. Again, 20 minutes is a fast dessert. You can't go wrong with these brownies. I mean, if something's wrong with you, then your brownies may come out. No, not right, but you should have success with these brownies. Hold on one second. And guess what, y'all? We halfway at the halfway mark. They almost done. It takes no time to make. So yes. Kendra said, love Friendlies. It was the after the club breakfast joint growing up. Friendlies, I'm telling you, Kendra, everybody has a memory about Friendlies back east. Arizona, they don't know what Friendlies is, but Friendlies was the joint back then. I used to love Friendlies. Chocolate education, I love it. Yes, Kendra. Well, I always try to educate people what's going on. I don't want them to feel like they don't understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. I want them to understand there's a reason and there's a history to why, I use what I use. And, I just like to educate people. That's just who I am. So thank you, Kendra. Kendra asks, why do some chocolate bars have measures on it, such as 70% cocoa? Awesome question. And I'm going to show you right here. This has 56% cocoa, okay? Semi-sweet chocolate bar, okay? And the reason why they do that, because they want you to be informed as a consumer that your chocolate bar isn't 100% chocolate. You have sugar, you have cocoa butter, you have other ingredients in here to make up that bar. So they want you to know that, hey, your chocolate bar is 70% cocoa, but the 30% remainder is other ingredients. So that's why they do that. Good question, Kendra. Thank you. Yes, dark chocolate, Charles said, is actually good for your health. And I'm sure if you heard the news of recent years, dark chocolate is a good thing for your health, just like with red wine. Again, but in moderation. Don't go crazy. Don't go, crazy with buying all this dark chocolate and red wine and thinking, okay, I'm not going to the doctor no more. I'm good. No, you have to go to the doctor. You still got to do your healthy living. But in moderation, you can have dark chocolate. So thank you, Charles, for that question. Yes. Hi, Crystal. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. Connie said, thanks for the information about chocolate. Of course, Connie. Oh, thank you for joining us today. Love you. You're welcome, Charles. You're welcome. Love you too. Awesome. Thank you. Izzy, that Valentine's chocolate box in the drugstore. Oh, don't even go there. That's the worst chocolate to me. Oh, God. That's the worst. Oh. Because first of all, I think with those chocolate boxes in the Valentine's, the little heart gets you. It's all red and velvety satin. So they get you with the little presentation. But when you get the chocolate, it could be just so sweet. It gets you a toothache. I don't like that. But, everybody has their own personal preference. Who am I to say what you like and what I don't like? You like what you like, I like what I like. But, it is what it is. So thank you, Kendra. Kendra said, I hear Charles makes a great brownie. Is that correct, Charles? We may have to have a brownie do. A brownie competition. Yes. Maybe that could be a future show. That's a good idea. Okay. So I'm going to take our brownies at the commercial break and come back and see how our brownies are doing. And hopefully we can go ahead and move forward. All right. Quick commercial break, and I'll come back and we'll be back on Give Me Some Sugar, Baking with Stephen. Thank you. All right, thank you for coming back to Give Me Some Sugar, Baking with Stephen. So we're almost at the last stages of baking with the brownies, so I'm excited. You should be excited too. Not too excited because you can't taste it. I'm smelling, so sorry about that. But I'm here to tell you that they do smell good. One thing, let's talk about, get some more time, I want to talk about is more chocolate. Some people like chocolate cake. Some people like devil's food cake. But when you hear those different terms of different cakes, devil food, chocolate cake, black forest cake, it's just different chocolates used to make those different types of cake. So it's all chocolate cake, okay? And in other news, I have a website now. It's called www.justgivemesomesugar. So you can go online, you can look at all that we're doing here, Give Me Some Sugar. You can order, we ship nationwide. But there are some restrictions on what we can ship because we are not liable to ship certain items. So anything with a frosting or a cream cheese frosting or filling or anything like that cannot be shipped, unfortunately. We're at the early stages of Give Me Some Sugar, so logistics have not quite figured out how to give you the satisfaction guarantee that you see on that screen. We want you to be satisfied as a customer when you look at our items and when you order them, and we want them to arrive the way you see them on the website. So stay patient with me. I am working on it. It's It's kind of hard because where I live. I live in Arizona. I'm not in Philadelphia. I'm not in Atlanta. I'm not in Washington D.C. I'm not in Jersey, New York, Delaware. That's my roots where everybody's at back there. So, but I'm all the way out here. So there are certain things I just cannot deliver at this moment. But if you just hang with me, hopefully in due time we can be up and running with those things. But yeah, I'm excited about Gimme Some Sugar being online. It was something that I thought for a long time. I told you the last time we talked, I was wanting to reveal that I had a special surprise, and that was a surprise that I had a website to go on and order and look at things. So a lot of hard work, a lot of persistence and perseverance, trying to figure out, what exactly I wanted to sell and what was going to be on the website. But for the most part, I'm very happy that it is online, that it launched, and we've had a lot of sales. So I've been pretty busy. The response and the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, and I'm so grateful for my customers who have reached out to me after they received it, made videos, made Instagram posts, and just talked about how good Gimme Some Sugar products are. And I'm very grateful to each and one of you. Thank you so much for doing that. And I couldn't have asked for that if you tried. So thank you, thank you, thank you. A lot of good things in the future. Charles said, Kendra Moore got jokes. Is that right, Kendra? You have jokes. You want to share one of those jokes with us today on this Sunday afternoon? I can use a laugh right now. Charles said, I definitely will be ordering something. All right, Mr. Chuck B, I'm looking forward to it. All right. So I'm going to check these brownies and see if we are almost ready to come out the oven. And guess what? We are looking good. So I always get a toothpick. That's always my test. I get a toothpick, and you can see it, yeah. And I always put it into the center of the brownies, make sure it comes out clean, or whatever I'm baking. If it's a cake or a brownie, those two things I always use. I don't use a toothpick for cookies or pies, but always when a cake and brownies, you always put a toothpick and make sure the toothpick comes out clean, okay? And guess what? Almost, but not quite. This is what you got. You saw how the tip is still wet? You see that chocolate batter? So it's not quite done. So maybe 10 more minutes and we'll be good to go. Okay. And then I'll do another clean toothpick and do a second test. And then once that comes out with a crumb and not wet, then I know it's done. Okay. Just little tips for you at home if you're baking. How do we order? Connie, oh my goodness, thank you. And see, Connie gets the best of Gimme Some Sugar because she's located here in Phoenix, Arizona. So Connie gets everything, the buttercream, the icing. She gets Gimme Some Sugar to the full effect. So how do we order? We go to www.justgimmesomesugar.com. And there we go. Thank you, Connie. Kendra Moore said, my mom loved her Mother's Day cake. Thank you. Oh, thank you for letting us make your mom happy on Mother's Day. We're very humbled and honored, Kendra. And if you didn't know, Kendra ordered her mom the Angel, which is our #1 seller. The Angel is our lemon pound cake, and I shipped it all the way to Florida. And Kendra mom loved the cake, so I am so happy. It makes my heart warm to receive that news and feel that we made someone's day beautiful. So thank you, Kendra. Thank you, Mom. Uh-oh. Connie said you will see her order today. Well, watch out. I thank you. Thank you, Connie. Yes. Charles said, when are you doing a special appearance on the East Coast? That is a wonderful question. Since the pandemic, I haven't been home in 2 years. And that's terrible. I've never been away from home more than 2 years. That's ridiculous. I've never been home. So I am considering doing a pop-up or a special appearance back in Philadelphia or Atlanta. I don't know when, but I think hopefully by the end of the year, we can try to see how things go with COVID. And hopefully I can do a pop-up and we can do a special event and we can do some fun things. Give me some sugar on the East Coast. Charles said, we want the full effect as well. I know that's right. Don't leave me out, huh? All right. So I'm going to get a second toothpick. Make sure it's clean. And we're going to see these brownies already again. Now, I know that wasn't 10 minutes, but I'm just, for this show purpose, I want to make sure that everything is looking kosher, okay? So about 5 more minutes and we'll be good to go. Good to go in 5 minutes. All right, so what is your guys' favorite TV show right now? Non-bacon news, non-cooking, non-bacon. What is your guys' favorite TV show? What's your guilty pleasure right now? It could be on Netflix, it could be on Hulu, it could be on Amazon TV, it could be on regular TV, whatever. What is your favorite show? Type in the comments below. Let me see what's going on out there, because I be having a whole list of things to watch and then I forget about it and I move on to something else. What temperature do you set the oven again? 350. You know, 350 is our magic number when we're baking. Now for pound cakes and other things, 325, but 350. Thank you, Charles. My favorite show right now, I love Pose on FX. I love Pose. So Pose has Billy Porter in it. I don't know if you know about him, but I love Pose. I love the whole show. I like the whole premise, the storyline, the music. It's really a show that affects the heart and the emotions. So I love that show. That's like my favorite show. I'm not a big TV watcher. I don't really have that much time to watch much TV, but tell me your secrets in Netflix. Who is that? What is that about? Tell me more. Please, Kendra. Anything HGTV. All right, Connie. I know that's right. You sound like your boy Antonio. He loves HGTV. Yes, he does. Yes. All right. So we should be done in about 5 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and let them cool for about 3 minutes, then we'll cut them and we'll see how they look, okay? All right. I wish you can be here right now. It smells glorious in here. It smells like a chocolate factory. It smells like Hershey Park. I don't like Hershey's chocolate. It smells kind of like that effect, but Power. I like Power too. But I haven't watched it since Changes. I don't know. I haven't since he got killed. I just couldn't watch it after that. But I may have to look at it again, revisit it again. But we'll see. All right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and it's really good. Really? Why is it good? Give me a reason why it's good, and I may watch it again. Okay, he's thinking of a reason. Okay. Well, while he's thinking of a reason, I'm gonna go ahead and take these brownies out of the oven. We should be almost done. Okay, let's check it. And guess what, y'all? We are done. Ta-da. Perfect. So again, we didn't want them to overcook because we didn't want them to be dried out or cakey-like. We want them to be fudgy. So we're gonna have to let them cool down for a minute. But I can tell just from looking at it, the crust is what I wanted. Can you see that? That's the brownie. So you can't eat hot brownies yet. You want to have a cool down brownie. You want the brownie to cool down because you want to be able to cut it up. If it's too hot, it's not going to cut. So let them cool down for about 10 minutes. Miss Connie says, don't make me drive to your house. Come on, bring the ice cream. Let's do this. That's right. And that's it. You got homemade brownies, man, okay? You can't go wrong with homemade brownies. It was so easy and so simple. And your taste buds will thank you. Your family will thank you, okay? And when next time you go to the supermarket and you see a brownie mix, keep on walking. Don't stop. Instead, go ahead and grab some unsweetened cocoa powder or some unsweetened chocolate bar and go home and make your own brownies. You'll never go back to a mix again. So Betty Crocker, Duncan Hines, all them other girls, Miss Pillsbury, bye-bye, no more. We don't need you. And don't even go to the biscuit section where they have the refrigerated brownies already pre-made. Keep on pushing that cart. Don't even stop. All right? So I want to thank you today for joining us. You see the brownies, they are really good. You see that crust? You see that glistening crust on top? That's what you want. See the chocolate chips, how they stayed intact, but they are soft? That's what you want. So I hope you deliver. Uh-oh, I got someone here. It took me 5 minutes to figure out how to comment. Well, I'm so glad you joined us, Miss Marie. Thank you for joining us, Miss Marie. Love you much. Thank you for joining us. Yes. I wish you guys were here. I know I want to end the show, but I really wish you guys were here to experience this. I mean, it's just like so decadent. So decadent. It's a shame that my husband, he eats like one or two. He's done because he doesn't want to eat too much sugar, but this is where I come in and I eat all the stuff up. But with this little small pan, we're not going to do much damage. Not at all. So I want to say thank you for joining Give Me Some Sugar, Baking with Stephen today. It was a pleasure. I had a blast with you all out there. Stay safe, stay kind, and stay sweet. And remember, life is always sweet with a little something sweet every day. All right. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.